Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me once again on my new podcast entitled Please Join Me. This is Joe Traina. I have two wonderful, funny, and talented men with me today. It's a doubleheader, and looking forward to speaking with them about their careers. Hopefully they'll tell some interesting stories. With me, just to keep you in a little suspense, are saxophonist Jerry Weldon and bassist, formerly saxophonist, Mike Karn. I have quite a lot of resume in front of me, so just allow me to read some highlights. I will start with Mike Karn because I think he's got an appointment after this, the chiropractor or something like that. So I will begin. Mike Karn grew up in Rochester, New York, where he became obsessed with the tenor saxophone, which disturbed the farm animals, but he continued with that endeavor.
Thank you for everything.
That's it?
That's it.
You're done?
Done.
Thank you so much.
You're
Thank you very much.
I see your wife is really happy, so make me happy too.
Yeah, take this in town. Have lunch on me.
This is tremendous podcast right now.
Thank you.
Thank you
So we're done. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
We're done.
Thank you so much.
Just be careful with everything in white, semi-gloss, like kitchen, bathroom, the doors, and
Okay.
no shower for a couple hours.
Couple hours.
They get a little bit
Okay.
dry. Eh?
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Obviously, Jerry Weldon is coming to us from Tijuana today, where he's playing a disreputable gig. He got over the border in a large cardboard box. Okay, are we done here with that? You're in a restaurant, right?
Yes.
Hello? You're in a restaurant,
Yes.
right? What did you order?
What did I order?
Yeah, what did you order?
Mussels marinara.
Yeah, the owner came out. It's a tough joint.
Oh, man.
Okay, may
Wow,
I
it's a-
continue?
Can we run? Can we do take two on that? I came in. Just it was a classic. It was a perfect storm of bad. The painter was telling me that it was over with and all of this stuff. So I had to get up for a few minutes. So I missed that little. Anyway,
all right.
I know
yeah,
it's not
sure.
funny, but I mean, it's.
I'm trying new shit here.
Jesus, try being me for just 1 hour. Just try it.
If you think you got the guts.
It's a definite suggestion.
All right, Joe, say something. Come on.
Say something funny, Joe.
I'm waiting for you to. I'm waiting for you to finish.
Oh, I'm finished.
Yeah.
All right, I'm happy to start again.
Go ahead.
Yeah, start again.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my ninth installment. Once more. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my ninth installment of Please Join Me. This is Joe Traina. I have with me today two real caquerones. They never stop talking. I will not be saying much, and that's fine because I don't
Joe
really
with the
have
ethnic humor.
I don't really have much to say. So starting with Mike Karn, the wonderful bassist who graces my group, formerly tenor saxophonist. I will throw in some editorial remarks, which will fall like a Led Zeppelin, but it's my podcast, so
That's right.
We can
You'll
always
cry if you want to.
We can, and we'll cut this out later on. Mike Karn grew up in Rochester, New York, where he played the saxophone and disturbed farm animals. He went to New York University and took the jazz program, started with the tenor great Joe Lovano, who avoids him now at every opportunity. In 2007, well, I should say, folks, that we were going to have this podcast earlier, but these guys were out on the road playing Shays Buffalo with a mixed entertainment act. It's known as Weldon and Karn. What they do is they tell stories about Ray Charles' manager And then they saw a sideman in half and played 10 minutes of improvised music. By the way, the opening act is Basil Fomine on the accordion. So anyhow, I'm glad they're with me. Yeah, I
Wow.
wrote all this. I wrote all this out.
You wrote
I'm
this
glad
stuff?
they're with me today. I'm glad they're with me today.
I think you need a new writer.
I'll never be able to get through this. I'm glad they're here with today.
You are correct, sir.
Mike Karn decided to pursue the bass a few years ago. After playing the tenor saxophone, took up the bass for no particular reason. He has been working with various orchestras and musicians, including the Vanguard Jazz Orchestra, where he established himself as the band's first call sub because he's willing to work for scale and a ham sandwich. This is a position he maintains to this day.
Not ham. I'm Jewish, Joe. Not ham. No ham.
Turkey bacon on rye.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
He has also worked with Jimmy Heath, the late great Jimmy Heath, Albert Heath, the late great Albert Heath.
No. Not
Joe?
yet. Not yet, Joe.
Oh, it says Albert Tootie Heath. I'm sorry. I thought Percy was in the mix, which he's not. Tootie's still with us. I've heard him both perform. They're wonderful musicians, and I don't know how Mike Karn got on that gig, but it's nice they gave him a taste. In 2015, Mike Karn joined the band of guitarist vocalist John Pizzarelli, who I must say has become much more hip and anxious as a result. In addition, Mike Karn has worked with George Coleman, once gave me a lesson in a bathrobe, started drinking in the middle of the lesson, and said, I don't have time to teach you what you need to know, but that's another story. True story.
Oh, this is better than Red Buttons.
Frank has worked. Mike has worked with Frank West. Frank West used to be my neighbor on 55th Street across the alley. Frank would play. I would play back at him. Frank would close the window. Then, after that, Mike Karn worked with Walt Weiskopf, Harry Allen. I've seen that act. Ken Poplawski. I saw that act too. And many other people that are too many to mention here because we try to keep this podcast down to 30 minutes. Michael is also a jazz educator. I need education. Mike is also an active jazz educator, and he's a member of the jazz faculty at the New School University for more than 25 years. He began there when he was 40. His former pupils include Marcus Strickland, John Ellis, Keith Loftus, Casey Benjamin, and Dmitry Bayevsky. I hope those guys are listening in because I gave them a plug. And that's it for Mike Karn for now. On to Jerry Weldon.
Wow.
Can I thank the Academy now? Is that what happens now?
Very impressive.
You'll be able to do whatever you want after I'm done with Jerry's resume.
This won't take long.
Get comfortable.
I hope
This is not going to take long.
I hope you'll both sing My Yiddish Mama in harmony.
We're lucky.
Okay. Jerry Weldon, D, the key of D.
D
Jerry
minor.
Weldon, D minor. Jerry, that's right. It's got to be in a minor key. It's Jewish. Okay. Jerry Weldon graduated from Rutgers University Jazz Program in 1961 and joined the Lionel Hampton Orchestra, joined Lionel Hampton when he was still alive. Weldon worked with Hampton until Hampton died in 2002 and Jerry eventually passed away. Jerry subsequently worked with organist Jack McDuff, organist Jimmy McGriff, and several church organists at Our Lady of Perpetual Codas.
Frank Floor Show Cully, don't forget.
That's right. Jerry Weldon worked with Al Gray, Cedar Walton, Roy Haynes, Jimmy Hobb, Mel Torme, and other jazz. Torme. I have a story about Torme, which one I will not tell in this podcast. Okay, and Jerry's worked with many other jazz legends, most of whom are dead now. Okay, Jerry became a charter member and featured soloist with the Harry Connick newly formed big band, as he will work for scale. And Jerry's toured US, Europe, Asia, Australia, and the Amazon. Jerry was also with Harry Connick when he did his Broadway show Thou Shalt Not which ran for 10 minutes. And he appeared on stage as well as in the orchestra.
Hey Joe,
Jerry,
you know who Jerry's sub was when he did that show?
Yeah.
who?
Just take a guess. Yeah, there you go.
You were
there
the
you
sub.
go.
Yeah.
No, he was better. No, it was even better. He was a number one son back in those days. That's right.
I'm sure he was. You know, I discovered Mike in a
I'll
disreputable.
tell you what, Joe. You know that show got a bad rap. I got to tell you, I got to break in just for a minute. That show was great. There was only one thing wrong with that show.
Which was?
The seats faced the stage.
Yeah, right. You know, I'm gonna break back over to Mike Karn. You know,
that's red buttons too, by the way.
Mike Karn worked with Harry Connick. You know, and you know how Jesus Christ. You know how Harry Connick discovered Mike Karn.
That's easy for you to say.
Mike was on a motorcycle at a traffic stop, and Harry was honking the horn.
My favorite story.
And Mike flipped him the bird, so he nudged him off the road. Harry did, and hired him on the spot.
Yeah, it was a bike. Unfortunately, it was a bike. It wasn't a motorcycle. But yes, that's
motorcycle works a little better.
That's a great story. I have to say.
It was a Raleigh chopper, you know, with the small wheel in the front.
Correct.
Some of us of a certain generation remember that. Anyhow, Jerry's made a bunch of records that some people have listened to. Jerry Weldon, head-to-head with Mike Karn. Well done. That's supposed to be clever. In 2008. Don't look... Here's a record for you folks. Don't Look Back, also known as Don't Look Back, the Cops Are Gaining on Me.
Wow, yeah. Joe, bringing out the A material on this
Joe,
one.
Hey, wait a minute now. That's you make fun of that one, but that one happens to be a million seller. You didn't know that, did you, Con?
I did not.
I got 1 million in my cellar, but I'll tell you.
Yeah, you have a. Yeah.
I got it.
I heard you sold 10. I heard you sold 10 to the Police Benevolent Association. Anyhow.
The last one though, but I made one big sale at the end, and it was great. I remember my sales pitch.
Which was?
I said, "Ma, you just gotta buy this CD."
I'm begging you.
And she said, "Why didn't you go into insurance like your big brother?"
Well, like Marty?
Why couldn't you become a chiropodist like your big brother?
Like Jeffrey.
Like Jeffrey. All right. So, and the last record Mike has made, I have heard a cut from this record at least, called "Those Were the Days." And I will say, in all honesty, after the first 8 bars, knowing Jerry Weldon the way I do, I started laughing. There was a quote.
There's a lot to be laughed at there.
There was something in there, and I thought it's a musical joke. It's very funny. So I started. In fact, I was in the car. I had to pull over. It was a delight. It was a delight to listen.
He's an absolute delight.
It was a delight. It was an idiot's delight for me.
Oh God!
To listen to Jerry's version of "Those Were the Days." Now, I'm done. So I think you guys.
That's it. All right, Joe. It's been great. I
Thanks,
we
Joe.
got to do this again.
No, I'm done. You have another 20 minutes. I think you guys talk amongst yourselves and
smoke them if you got them.
All I want is to allow you, at the end of the podcast, for us to play a couple of tunes of your choosing, and it'd be nice if you told us a little bit about them before you sign off, because like with Rob Sheps, who was my guest a few episodes ago, he said, pick whatever you want. And I thought, I'm not going to pick your tune. Maybe it's a tune you don't like, or maybe it's a tune that's got the wrong tempo. So I would like you guys to pick your tune. And don't feel free to pick a tune off of that record that you made in the late 70s where you played together. So you can have 2 tunes.
We could do
one
that.
Jerry Weldon,
sure.
A Jerry Weldon tune, a Mike Karn tune. And we'll, hopefully we'll boost your.
Yeah, but that's a good record, the one we did together.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I know it's a good record. It's a good record. But does the audience know it's a good record? So we'll play it for them, and we'll let them decide.
We'll let them decide.
That record has sold in the tens of copies.
Yeah. I know. I have so many boxes of records in my attic.
That's where my million
I'm-
seller work comes in.
I'm putting the dining. I have so many boxes of records in my attic. I'm putting the dining room furniture on the front lawn. Let somebody take it. I'll just sit on the boxes of records. Okay, guys.
All right.
So it's all yours. Go ahead.
All right.
Talk about whatever you want.
So
Why don't
Karn, Karn, we
Yeah.
we first met through Danny
Sedonic.
Sedonic. Is that right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I was thinking
Yeah.
about that. I was thinking about that this morning when
Yeah, I was living in Astoria, Queens, with a great percussionist named Danny Sedonic. We went to college. We were in college together. He was a grad student at NYU. I was an undergrad. He grew up in Co-op City in the Bronx. Everybody was afraid of him, but one day we started talking.
Yeah.
We became friends, and we moved in together. And one day he had the nerve. He had the unmitigated gall to show up with and bring another tenor player into our apartment. And it turned out to be you. And we met.
That was 30th Avenue, 31st, right by the train, right by the
30th Avenue and 31st Street. Yeah, right by the. I could out the kitchen window. I could see I could hear the train leaving Astoria Boulevard. And and if I ran for it, I could make it. I could.
Yeah, no, I remember
go down
that
the
bill.
stairs.
That's where Shuby lived in Bargad.
Right, that was before me. Right.
Right, that was before you.
Yeah.
That would have been what, 86, 87?
No,
was it later?
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, maybe 84, 85. Yeah, 86 and 87. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Vince Herring moved out.
That's right. Vince was there, right? Was in the Wellers were up with it? Were they in the building? The Wellers, remember the Wellers?
No, they rehearsed. Danny's bedroom. Well, Danny's room was the rehearsal studio. He slept. His mattress was in the.
I spent many hours in that joint. That was a great hang. That was a great hang.
Yeah. So they rehearsed in what was Danny's room effectively, and he kept his mattress in the pantry, and he slept in the pantry. So that's how we met.
I remember it well. And when did you go out with Ray?
88.
88. You went for two. You made two runs. Two
years. Yeah.
Two runs.
And then I was done. Yeah. I got
Okay.
Yeah, in like May of '88. Yeah, they had already been in LA, and they had already left for the first couple of gigs, and they still didn't have any. They still didn't have it. Ricky Woodard was the tenor player, and he left. Right. And they didn't find anybody in LA. And then I knew a trombone player in the band. He was a ringer in the NYU big band.
He got you in there.
He had made a demo right before he left again. I made a demo with him right before he left. And they're trying all these saxophone players nobody can play. And then he said, like, the penny dropped. He's just like, wait a second. And he gave the thing to Ray, and he said, this guy can do it. And Ray listened to it, and they gave me the call. So, yeah.
Wow.
And my first gig was the Paul Masson Gallery. Winery, the Paul Masson Winery.
We played
Orson Welles vocals.
There you go. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yep.
We played up there with Gates.
Right. And
then they did that series. Remember they did a jazz series with
Dex and Stan.
Dex and Getz. And Bobby Hutcherson did one.
That's right. Yeah.
McCoy did one.
McCoy. Yeah, with John Blake and those guys. Yep.
Harvest Jazz on with Steve Allen.
Oh wow. That's right.
Steve Allen was the host. Joe, I know you got a Steve Allen story.
Yeah, Steve Allen's story is Mike Karn recorded Steve Allen's theme song on my record T for Two, which is called This Could Be the Start of Something Big. And actually, it's one of the most popular songs that gets purchased out of all of my tunes. Mike happens to be big in Singapore.
Well, see, he always did good there.
Yeah, I mean, that
was his groove.
From the early days.
Right?
Yeah, from the early days. Right? Yeah. I took a boat. I was in the Merchant Marines. I took a boat over, and I just threw my tenor in there, and then the rest is history.
Then he had the hit single. I want to go back to my little grass shack in Wannagaloo, Hawaii, and that was somehow that caught on. It might have been your first big one.
That was my I heard Bobby Hackett do it, and I just jumped right on it.
Yeah, Mike is also big at Leavenworth.
Oh, yeah. Only when I wear my Joe Traina mask. Yeah.
There you go.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So,
That's
yeah.
right. All right.
So yeah.
So that was so you did 2 runs with Ray.
Yep.
And
Yeah, tell us, Mike, about the wonderful experiences you had with Ray's manager.
Yeah, Joe Adams. I mean, the thing about Joe Adams is, I mean, he's actually he was a pretty historic guy. He was one of the very, very first African-American disc jockeys, and he was a big, that was a big thing, And as Jerry well knows, he has a speaking part in Manchurian Candidate. He's the therapist or whatever in the
Yes.
Manchurian Candidate.
that's right.
And that's how I'll tell you that this is a good story. That's how I became aware of that movie. Was we were out with Ray, and we had to get from Houston to San Diego, and we drove. It was 30 something hours. We drove straight, no hotels, and it was Thanksgiving. We were going to spend Thanksgiving in San Diego, so we drove from Houston to San Diego, and Joe Adams came out and drove the bus, and which was always nerve-wracking. Yeah, because that was his bus. He paid for it. It was like $500,000 or something. It was ridiculous. So it's like early in the morning. We leave Houston overnight. We drive. And at like 8 a.m, the TVs come on, and we're like, what the fuck, And he's playing this movie. He's forcing us to watch this movie, and we just, what are you doing? We just want to sleep. So, like we started watching it. Of course, we wanted to hate it because he was forcing us to watch it. So for the first 5 minutes, we're like, this ain't nothing. And then the next 5 minutes, we're like, well, this is actually pretty good. And within 15 minutes, we were like, this is unbelievable. This is the greatest movie we've ever seen.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's how I watched the movie on VHS on Ray Charles's band bus in 1989. It's incredible. So
he made a few movies. He made
Yep.
quite a few. He's in Carmen Jones as well.
That's right. Yep.
Right?
He was really a big deal. Yeah.
Yeah. I think he's in a couple of movies with Sinatra too. I think.
He was a big deal, especially when you got a fine for being late or whatever you did.
I mean, yeah. I mean, what's that? When the king.
Over. Go ahead. So I'm sorry.
I mean, he kind of ran when he was around, he would, I remember he fined a guitar player for not shaving one time. He took $50, from him he hadn't shaved that day. I never got fined. Luckily, I almost did a couple times, but I didn't. But
You used to shave several times a day to avoid the fine, right?
Yeah, it's just my back. And so anyway, he came out. We got new uniform. We were going to get new uniforms. So when I joined the band, they just gave me the extra uniforms they had. So the only extra uniforms they have belong to Ray's original baritone player, Leroy the Hog Cooper.
Mr. 5x5.
Yeah. So Leroy, who actually my first year, he actually came out for about 10 days and did a 10-day run with us, and he's the greatest. He was the greatest. He was the greatest guy, man. So I joined the band. They gave me 2 uniforms, home and away, and they both belonged to Leroy. And he was, as Jerry said, he was like Jimmy Rushing proportions. And I'm 6'3", and back then I was probably 6'3". I was probably,
6'4".
6'4". Yeah, right.
You're a tall drink of water, Carl.
I was like 210. Leroy was probably 310. So this uniform was hilarious, and so Joe Adams came out. I think we were in Europe, and he came over to Europe, and he saw me with this uniform, and he almost fined me because he thought that I had he thought that that was my idea. And he's like, Mr. Karn, I almost fined you when I saw you in that uniform until I realized that idiot road manager gave that to you. And so he fined him.
And who was the road manager?
I don't remember. Well, there were many. There were many.
No kidding.
There was one.
So Joe wasn't out with you all the time.
No, he would only come in specific spots.
Oh,
he would come to Europe when we went to Japan.
Yeah.
He came to Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every once in a while, when you could smell him. He had a very distinctive cologne.
Oh no, Joe, really?
Which was apparently a mixture of like 5 or 6 colognes. We called it Eau de Funk. And when you smelled, it was an early warning system. When you smelled Eau de Funk, you knew that you better watch your ass because he was around. Before you saw him, you smelled him. and you knew you had to be cool. So
Wow.
yeah. So he would measure us for the uniforms, and that got a little weird. And it was, he was an interesting person to say the least. You know.
Yeah, interesting guy. I was trying to
You know.
I really tried to get on that. I was really wanting to get on that band too.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it didn't happen. But you know, even you know, I know about the whole run, but I definitely would have done it for sure.
He very famously, Joe Adams very famously had a gun emptied into him. He had he got shot 6 times and survived. And I think famously he pulled a gun on Kenny Rampton, I believe. I believe he pointed a gun at Ramp. Yeah. Yeah.
Were you guys on the band together?
No, when I was in the band, the only New York guys when I was in the band were me and this alto player Craig Bailey.
I know
And
Craig,
then
sure.
yeah, and then the drummer was Jeff Ballard. Ballard eventually, came to New York. Yeah. But all those guys, Rampton, Rotundi, the Farnsworth brother, James Farnsworth, who passed away.
James, that's right. He was on the band a long time.
Those guys were all later. Those guys are after me.
Right,
After us.
right.
Yeah. There's a lot of Chicago guys, a lot of Chicago college guys. So
wow.
Yeah.
So did you have another? Did you ever have? I know about one meeting. Did you have more than one meeting with Ray himself? Like
well,
did you ever summoned to the office?
I was summoned once, and then I did something for him that got me another face to face. So the summoning is the good one. Yeah, the summon. I got called in one time. It was the second year towards the end. I had already decided I was going to leave. And there was a band tune that had a tenor cadenza in it that I had. And I think that night I might have been, I don't know, Jared, I know it's hard to believe, you've known me for a long time, but I might have been a little fucked up that night.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't know you well enough then. That's hard.
Yeah,
that's
if you get a chance, ask Jeff Ballard about drunk.
You were a lot more fun back in those days.
I was a lot of laughs then, yeah. I was a good drunk. I was a really good drunk. So I might have had a couple, Yeah. So I played this cadenza that must have been pretty squirrely. So the gig ends, and his valet says, "Hey, Karn, old man wants to see you," which sobered me up immediately. And he calls me in, and then I said, I sit down, and he says, "Son, I really like having you in the band, and you sound real good and everything, but I got to ask you a favor." And I'm like, "Yeah, Ray? No, not Ray."
Mr.
I said,
Charles.
"Yeah, Mr. C. Yeah, Mr. C." I said, "Yes, yes, sir. What's the favor?" He says, I'm just going to have to ask you that the next time you play that solo, I'm going to have to ask you to cut out all that enharmonic bullshit." and it's like, enharmonic bullshit. But I mean, but I didn't know what he meant, but I knew, of course, I knew exactly what he meant. I knew exactly. I said, yeah. I said, absolutely. I said, yes, sir, absolutely. It won't end.
Oh, that's the greatest.
And in true old school fashion, wasn't the next night. It might have been the night after. He called it immediately again. He called that tune as soon as he could again.
What was it? What was it? What tune?
I don't remember. It was like like a big suite. It was like Ray's. It was like someone wrote him that Buddy Thing Channel 1 suite. Like a big long thing goes through a different. It was like Ray's version of that. So 2 days later he calls it, and of course I remembered. And I didn't see, he didn't call me in, but I got the thumbs up. You're cool. So years later, talking about James Farnsworth, I met James Farnsworth up at Augie's one night, and he goes, we introduced ourselves, and he goes, Mike Karn. Oh, you're the enharmonic bullshit guy.
Stuff of legend.
Yeah,
yes.
It'll live forever.
It'll live forever. That's Karn. You're in the books, baby.
Always.
And then you laid a tape on him, right?
I gave him a tape. I made him at that time. So I took Ricky Woodard's place,
right?
And Ricky took James Clay's place. So James Clay, I mean, like a legendary, tenor player. So Clay at that time, I can't remember. I think it was it was right around that time. Clay, Don Cherry made a record. He got Clay to come back from Texas, and he made a record with Billy Higgins, Charlie Hayden, and Clay. And they played the Vanguard a couple times, and they made a record. So I had gotten the cassette, actually. I bought the cassette. And it's nice. It's a good record. Clay plays Body and Soul, and I threw a custard, in her face, and the whole thing. Yeah. And they play whatever. They play Bemsha Swing and a bunch of stuff. So I made a copy of the cassette, for Ray, I figured maybe he'd want to hear what Clay was up to. And on the other side of it, I put there's a duo record with Hampton Hawes and Charlie Hayden. It's a nice record.
Oh, nice.
Hamp sounds great. And I knew that he and Hamp were running buddies.
They were running buddies. The gold
to put it mildly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I made him this tape, and so I gave it to his valet, this guy Dave, this great cat. And I said, "Hey, Dave, this is for the old man. He's in the car all day. Maybe he wants to listen to it." So okay, cool. Like 6 weeks later, Dave comes and says, "Hey, Karn, the old man wants to see you." And I'm like, "Oh God, I had forgotten,
Yeah.
So I'm like, "Shit, what did I do?" Well, whatever.
Hey, of course.
Yeah.
You go there.
So I go in, and he goes, "Son, I just wanted to thank you. I know you gave me this tape a little while ago." And I'm just like, "Oh." So I said, he goes, "I gave you this tape," and I said, "Oh man, great. You listened to this. What did you think of it?" He didn't say anything about Clay or Don Cherry. He didn't mention it. He didn't even bring it up. He just goes, "I know why you gave me that Hampton Hawes." And I said, "Why?" He goes, "Because you want me to know how piano playing is supposed to sound."
Oh man!
It's just like I'm like,
no.
I'm like, that's Finn's Trixie. I'm like,
Wait, let's go on to 1973, Karn.
So I got my first bike with training wheels. See, then Jared, and then what happened?
I know, and then Andy Simonelli took it from you.
That's right. That's right.
He beat me in baseball. We were flipping baseball cards, and he beat me out of my baseball cards. Man. He was a big guy too. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
But I tried to fight him, but it was the spirit was there, Karn.
Spirit strong, body weak. Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
I was a skinny kid. In those days, I looked like a clarinet. Remember that monologue he does at the Sands? It don't hold up too good.
No. I guess I better sing again before I turn 51.
Excuse me, 49. Excuse me. You make me young.
Right. Yeah. He's like, "Yeah, you wanted me, Hampton Hawes. You wanted me to know how I was supposed to play." I was like, no.
No,
but it was cool. He got a laugh out of it.
He got a big kick out of it, I'm sure.
Actually, Jerry, I just remembered. I don't know if I ever told you this one. I probably did. This is a good one, actually. We, my first year, we went to Europe. We were in Europe for 6 weeks in the summer. We did all the festivals and everything. And I had my tenor. I got the gig so quick that all I had was one of those Reunion Blues Cordura cases. It wasn't even leather. It was like Cordura.
Yeah.
So 6 weeks in Europe, of putting the thing up in the thing and just dragging around, my horn was all messed up, So after the 6 weeks, we came home, we landed at JFK, and then we all went to Cincinnati for a week off. And so I called Saul Fromkin, and I said, "Look, if I bring my horn in, can you overhaul it in a couple of days? Because that's all I got." And he said, "Yes, just let me know."
Mm-hmm.
Virginia.
Mike says hello. Hi. She says hi.
So he said, "Yeah, just let me know." So I asked the valet. I said, "Listen, can I get off at JFK and meet the band in Cincinnati?" And he says, "I'll ask the old man." So a couple of days later, he says, "Hey, Karn, the old man wants to talk to you about your thing." So I actually went in and saw him. So he goes, "Son, you want to get off and meet the band later?" And I said, "Yeah, my horn is kind of messed up." And he goes, "Well, can I check it out?" Because as we all know, Ray played saxophone.
Yeah.
So I said I had it with me, so I gave it to him, and he didn't blow in it, thank God. But he kind of ran his fingers. He goes, "Well, it feels pretty good to me." And I was like, "Oh God." So I says, I said, "No, it's messed up here." And I took his finger and I put it on the spot that was kind of messed. I said, "Can I touch your hand?" He says, "Yeah." And I showed him, and something was bent. He's like, "Oh, that's bent." Yeah, and I put his hand on the back where the body was a little bent, and stuff. He's like, "Oh yeah." He goes, "Well," he says, "you got to have your horn be cool." So he said, "All right." So he said, "Yeah, it's fine. Get off in New York. Just you got to be in Cincinnati we got rehearsal the day before.
Right.
You just got to be there then." And I said, "Yeah, no problem. I'll change my ticket." And so that's what happened. So he kind of fingered my horn for a minute. And he's like, "This feels pretty good."
The balanced?
No, that was a Mark 6 that I got when I was in school. Oh man. So so this is from the record that Jerry and I did together. It's a Dizzy Gillespie tune called "Ow." It's just rhythm changes,
Yeah.
Yeah, we both, and I'll just say this, Jerry and I knew each other. I'd say we were friendly. I don't think we hung out a ton. We weren't like really close before we did the date, right? I mean, we were
98, we were pretty good pals.
Yeah, we played,
yeah.
But I mean, we really got to be friends after. But it was
after
it was
we
great.
started playing the bass, we
yeah,
he was my ace. He was my ace. Boom.
Can't stand you before that though. Yeah. But it's great. It was great because we made this record and we were already friends, and then we got, just doing it and hanging out. We got to be great friends, and it was fun because we both like the same stuff. We both like the same guys, but like in different proportions. It's like
exactly.
And
exactly.
So it worked perfect. And I mean, I feel like Jerry, that we did that record like in like six hours or like that record.
No,
like we knocked it out quick.
No, we knocked it out. We knocked it out quick. We sure did.
Yeah, it was real easy. It was just a piece of cake. I mean, the rhythm section was great. They were super professional, but it was just easy. It was just easy and fun. It felt good.
We could have done 2 or 3 more. We should have.
Exactly. We should We should have. Yeah.
We should have.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is Al. It's Dizzy Gillespie.
You've been listening to Please Join Me with Joe Traina. Be sure to listen anywhere you get your podcasts. Keep up with joetrainamusic.com for news and new episodes. Be sure to look out for Joe's newest recording, Tip of the Hat, due out later this month on all streaming services and wherever fine music is sold. This episode was produced by Caroline Voigt.